That is a well-deserved drink, a Southern Comfort, because today has been insane. Folks, if you didn't see it, we just got done with the weigh-ins, and I'm gonna try to break this thing down for you guys, and let's get my final thoughts on the card itself. 1 day away from the fights. By the time you see it, it's fight day, so you already know it's the breakdown. Let's go. Being the great evil hero, the atmosphere was already set. True Jordy was in the building. My first time working with him, amazing. I mean, I knew he was a genuine guy. I knew that he had my back, but just seeing him in person and getting to meet him, Brian, I love you, brother. Like, the opportunities I got because of him and because of you guys, I just can't thank everyone enough. And then, hold on a second, I introduce Michael Buffer, the voice of boxing for the last 40 years. Guys, you want to talk about goosebumps? It was like a rabbit ran over my grave. I'm getting them right now, but man, that was insane. A legend in the game, and I'm truly honored to just be a part of this entire thing, thanks to the Zone Misfits. But being the great evil hero, it set the tone. I'm talking right away, you could see the level of intensity, the severity, the seriousness that we had, because both guys got in that shoving match right away. Dean talking about, again, he's gonna put this man to sleep. It's night time. It's just, like I said, the energy between the two, you see guys that are ready to fight. You don't see YouTubers anymore. This is legitimate dudes that are coming in as fighters. So that one kicked it off, and then behind that we had Sam Hyde, I Am Thompson. And I'm telling you guys, Sam Hyde, I don't know how to read the guy. I know he's a big dude. I know this is heavyweight boxing, and I'm telling you this, you better not leave your seat when that fight starts. It is, one punch can end it all. We know this, heavyweight boxing. But these two in particular, Sam's giving off this energy of, you know, he's in character, then he's not. He said he was moist. I'm pretty sure he was you know, I have to bleep this part, but he was a little bit. But I felt it. That sounds weird, but I did. My hand was on his back, and it felt like I dipped it in the pool or the ocean or something, and he was shaking and going crazy, doing the accents. I have no idea what to expect from that dude except violence. And on the other side, I Am Thompson, very relaxed, very composed. He's been with Wildcard Boxing. That's a staple of that gym, to be, you know, not really playing into the mind games or getting into that kind of side of things, but just be focused on the fight. He's been like that all week, so fair play. That was probably one of the most odd, but funny face-offs we had. So then we had Salt, Papi, and Andy Warski. And yesterday we saw a different kind of tone from Andy Warski. It's 2 days ago, but at the press conference, really animated, you know, talking about he's gonna destroy Salt, Papi, all that. Today, more subdued. And again, I think this is where the gamesmanship kind of ends, and we start to get the real fighters, right? And that was the case again for Andy. He was locked in. He was like, I appreciate the moment, but I got a job to do. And it looks like a guy that's understands that he is the underdog by a wide margin here, and the job he has to go do is almost damn near impossible to get done. So it looks like he's in the right mindset. We'll see how it turns out. But Salt Papi, I'm telling you that he had the crowd in a fever pitch. You want to talk about favorites in the London scene and in the YouTube boxing scene? It's a name that's going to keep coming. Salt Papi, the man with salt in his hands, dripping it on everyone. I don't know what it is. He's got this charisma you can't explain, and the people rock with him. He's talented. He's going to be around in this scene. And again, tomorrow night or tonight, because when this goes out, it'll be fight day, he has an opportunity to make his name known and set up his next fight. Can't wait to see that one. Then, this is the fight of the night, because yes, the co-main is a very close fight, can absolutely be fight of the night, but this one, as we've gotten closer to this fight, you guys know I'm a Sensei, you know, Sensei's my brother, my guy, but the intensity level has gotten real, and I keep saying that word because I look in Kenny's eyes and it's like laser beams coming out of him. Daly as well. Those guys are locked to the highest degree, and it's not something where they know they're in over their head. They really truly believe that this is Kenny's moment to shock everyone, to put his name on that high level again, that right where it was with the temper fight, but then getting that win. And so they understand it's time for war. You know, Sensei, his calling card had been, I want to go to war. I want both of us to bleed. You're hearing Kenny now say those same things. He was saying it today in the weigh-ins. He wants that war, and he's got a little smirk to him. So they know some things that we don't, and it's going to be a real fight. On Sensei's end, he's always class. You know what I mean? He's always appreciative of the moment. He's in a good headspace. He's not too over-animated. He's not too relaxed. You're starting to see him build up the twitchy in the hands. You're starting to see him get ready. And again, it's fight of the night. They had a respectful face-off, but the intensity level was there. It was palpable. You could definitely feel it. And then, oh man, and then, you know, I gotta take one for this. My nerves were shot on this one. Deji and Fousey, and by the way, Fousey now wants to be known as Yusuf the Wolf, Arakat. He is transformed not only his physical but his mental. So obviously, you know, he's locked in. He's ready to be here. He is talking to Deji a lot. There is a lot of energy coming from Yusuf, and I don't know if it's good or bad energy. It's hard to tell because we watched him get too emotionally involved in the Slim fight, and I'm afraid that might be happening. I can't say it is, but I'm afraid it is because he's telling Deji, you picked the wrong guy. You thought I was an easy fight. You're going to sleep. I'm going to put you out. You ain't ever been touched like I'm going to touch you. All that stuff. And Deji's just like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll see you on fight night. And I know he's done that before, but this feels different, right? This doesn't feel like I'm scared to say anything. This feels like I don't have to. I know what I bring. This isn't something where I need to get in a back and forth with you. And genuinely, that's the way it came across on stage here, and the same in the press conference. He feels comfortable with himself as a fighter, as a person maybe, for the first time in this scene. And it's building my confidence really in both guys. And this is why it's such a hard fight to pick. And I don't know what's gonna happen, but both guys know it's on the line. Yusuf bringing a ton of energy and passion. Deji staying a bit more calm and composed. We'll see what happens there. Oh, and then we had the co-main event, and Slim's a showman. I'll just say it now. Slim is a showman, and the opportunity he's getting on 2 weeks' notice, he's taking full advantage. You two boxers, if you want to know how to promote yourself and get yourself a bigger name than you already have, take a look at Slim this entire weekend. I know, you know, some of the things might come off as goofy or hokey or cringe, but he's doing what he has to do to sell a fight between himself and another guy in the co-main event. And that other guy is Face Temper, which we all know Tommy's not a big talker, but even without the talking this time, Tommy is different. You don't see the trolling and, you know, what do you mean? All that kind of stuff, those questions that he had for Kenny in the first one to try to troll and get in Kenny's head, you're not seeing that. In fact, what you're seeing is a guy that is so stoic that it's starting to get scary how serious he is about this. I'm reading Tommy in a way I've never seen him. The intensity in his eyes, the almost the blood boil in his face when he sees Slim. I almost want to say Tommy is invested in this more than I've seen him invested in anything, especially in the YouTube boxing scene. And I know he wants that finish. So does Slim. Fireworks are about to happen. This is going to be a good one. All I'll say is this: Slim and Tommy, whoever wins, you might be looking at the next opponent for KSI. Oh, and then we had the main events, two main events. Opening the card with Swarms, obviously, and finishing the card with Luis Alcaraz Pineda was the man of the hour, KSI. And I'm telling you, he got in the building and the energy switched. I know everybody was already invested, but when KSI walked in, the people were ready to go to war. It was like William Wallace standing in front of a bunch of Scots. He was their leader, and he walked on stage and he took off the track jacket, and the muscles were popping. He is in ridiculous shape for even him, and he's a cardio king already. So, and we found out today, 3 rounds, 3 minutes each. So yes, it's not as much taxing as it would be for 6 and 6, but I never thought a commission was going to allow him to do that anyway. So 3 rounds, 3 minutes each for both fights. But then Swarms gets on stage, and I'm telling you something right now. Swarms has been promoting this. I can't say enough about how impressed I am with him on the promotion side. If he can fight as well as he can promote, we got a fight on our hands in the first one of the night. But I have a feeling that's not the case. But anyway, they get on stage, the shirts are off, they're in front of each other, and everyone kind of knew it was going to kick off, and sure enough, it did. Swarms and KSI, a pushing and shoving going on, and that stopped, and then it happened again, and then the second time, Swarms let go a right hand a little bit, but guess who was there to snatch it like a hawk? Your boy, the Win Chun. I've been training. Shout out to Dustin Poirier for that. But yes, I don't know if they caught it on the camera. I caught a little right hand from Swarms. That just shows you the intensity, the friends turn foes of that matchup. And KSI still had another face-off to do. Here comes Pineda, and he gets up in KSI's face. Energy we hadn't seen from him all week. And again, this is something we're going to have to find out on fight night. Is it all buff? Is it all bravado? Is it ego from KSI, from Swarms, from Pineda? I don't think so. I think all 3 guys have it in their mind they're going to win. And it's really going to come down to, can KSI take this challenge? I think he can. I think he's going to make a lot of people surprised at how good he's gotten in the last couple of years, but it's still a challenge. And on stage, it showed that. But we weren't done. And I got to take a drink on this one because, ladies and gentlemen, we got reintroduced to one Joe Weller. I'm on stage. I'm trying to wrap up the presser or the weigh-ins. I look to my left, and there's a man in an orange shirt pushing on KSI's editor, Mo. Shout out to Mo for standing his ground. But then it pops off. Joe Weller, Billy struts up to KSI while he's talking with True Jordy, and shout out Big Zoo on the post weigh-in show, and they almost go at it. Both guys going back and forth. We knew there was bad blood there, and yes, Joe's a part of the commentary and he's a part of the event, so that's not the most professional thing to do, but Joe knows what we know. He is a commodity in this scene, and even this week earlier, when Deji was hitting his media workout and throwing his punches, Joe was there and he was watching intently. That man wants a fight. Even though he's not saying it, I can guarantee you he wants a fight, and today he was looking for one, and he almost got it with KSI. No one almost stopped him. It was about to kick off, but cooler heads prevailed. I think Joe, maybe on a card soon after, but today was not the day. They handled it. We're getting on to fight night, and let's find my final thoughts on fight night. All right, so I've had my refreshments, and now it's time for my final thoughts on this card. DAZN Misfit Boxing X Series number 1, KSI 2 fights. Let's start with the beginning. KSI versus Swarms. Listen, really the only thing that has to happen here is KSI has to get Swarms out early. Like, he can't play around with his food in this one. I know I want him to get ring experience too, but Swarms has to be done in quickly because he has another fight. And it's a pro guy. And listen, Swarm's a road man, a guy that lost a lot of weight in 2 weeks, but has only had 2 weeks to do that and learn to box. I don't see this being competition for KSI, but if it is, that's when the problems come. He needs to get Swarms out early and make a statement. The 2 fights in one night, they mean a lot if he makes that statement. That's what he's got to do. We'll see if he can. Dean the Great, Evil Hero in the second fight on the night. We've talked about this for a long time now. Dean the Great, a legitimate prospect in this scene, a guy that, if things go well for him, has the opportunity to not only be in this YouTube boxing scene, but possibly go into the pro scene. I think he's one of the few that really could transition into pro and get into some rankings. He's still very, very young. Guy was born in 2000, which is crazy to me. I'm an old geezer, I know, but he has a real opportunity here against kind of a guy that we don't know a ton about. Yes, Evil Hero's had a couple boxing matches on some other promotions, but that's really been it. No amateur experience, nothing outside of that, and he's with a great gym, Brian Valoria, but Dean the Great should win this fight. Evil Hero could shock a lot of people, and I know he's been working hard and he's in great shape. The back and forth is done. Dean has the opportunity. He needs to capitalize and be great. The next one, the heavyweights, Sam Hyde, I Am Thompson. I mean, listen, I don't know what to say. I have no words because this entire buildup has been baffling to me. You got accents and Irish slang from Sam Hyde. You got really nothing on the other side from I Am Thompson, but that's a good thing. He's not playing into the games. He's calm, cool, collected. It's a staple of Freddie Roach's gym and wild card boxing. But Sam Hyde, he's a character for sure. I understand. But he's got some talent here. And at heavyweight, the biggest fight, not biggest in terms of mass audience. I'm talking about mass in the body. This is the heaviest fight in YouTube boxing, crossover boxing history. Sam Hyde, I think the Candyman is ready to eat. We'll see what happens, but look for the Irishman to make a statement. Salt Papi and Keno Casino's own Andy Warski. Listen, I know Andy's a great dude, and he's done his part in training and trying to build to this fight, and I hope he has a great performance tomorrow night, or I guess tonight as you guys are seeing this, but Salt Papi's a different level. I think everybody knows this at this point. I don't expect this fight to go the distance. I do think Salt Papi is going to make a statement because, like I said with Dean, he's one of these guys that can absolutely start to take over the scene, and he's calling people out left and right. He said, give me KSI. He said, give me Face Sensei. Those words, they have to be taken with a lot of weight because when you say that, you imply that you're on that level, and in this case, I don't think it's just an implication. I think Salt Papi is on that level. I think he gets this done, and then the sky's the limit. Face Sensei, King Kenny, you guys know Face Sensei is my brother, my big oos, and it's tough to pick this. I don't even want to pick this one because I don't even know if I can, because King Kenny and Daly, I've said it since I got into town. I've been talking to Christian behind camera. I've been talking to a lot of people that I've seen, and to Daly and Kenny themselves. They're locked into a different degree, and I know they were locked in for Temper, but it was their first time. They didn't really know what to expect from Temper. He hadn't had a fight. But I have to kind of go with my gut here, and that says Sensei. I don't know how it gets done, but Sensei, he's the totality of a martial artist. And I know this is boxing, and boxing will always win out, but the styles he brings, Kenny hasn't seen. The stances, the switches, the tempo, the attacks, the defense, things that I don't know if traditional boxers can replicate, even as good as the ones are in Daly's gym. Kenny will bring it. And like I said, he is ready for war. Sensei started saying it. Kenny's finishing saying it. It's a toss-up fight. I'm, of course, going to lean Sensei, but someone is going to win the war. I guess we'll find out who. Deji, Fousey. The different energies from these guys has me in shambles. I have no idea. This is literally, I called the last one a toss-up fight. This one is 50-50 down the middle. I don't know if I can even pick it because you have Fousey on one hand who's changed his life, changed his body, changed his name back to Yusuf, the Wolf, Arakat. And this is a big deal because not only do both these guys not have any wins, but the one that gets a loss here, it might be over. It might be the last straw for them in this scene. The winner, however, goes on to bigger heights and reforms their career, finds their way back to that superstar level. Fousey coming in with a lot of aggression, telling Deji he picked the wrong guy. It's not an easy fight, and he's going to, excuse my language, but fuck him up. And Deji on the other side, very calm, and not because he didn't want to speak. That was the Alex fight. That was some other ones where he was like, oh, I'm not going to speak. I'm not going to say it. This time it's, I don't have to. There's something different here, and that comes from his preparation. Deji is starting to switch public favor, and I think this thing is starting to lean towards Deji. I honestly, I'm not going to pick this one because I have no idea. It could go either way. The Wolf could howl at the moon and get his victory, or Deji could finally get that W and take no more L's. Slim face temper, and again, this word I keep using, the intensity for these fights, it just builds throughout the card. And I've said this before, there's fights on this card that could have been main events on their own card. And this one's one of them. Slim getting an opportunity, 2 weeks notice to come in and fight in the co-main event. He's jazzed up. He's been talking all week in the hallways, in the rooms, in the elevators, on stage. He's confident. And he's been preparing for something like this for the last couple of years. He has experience that Temper doesn't, but Temper has things that Slim doesn't, like range and the coaching and the team he's been with now for basically a year. Temper is locked in to a degree I've never seen him, and that's a big thing I want to hone in on. Temper is focused. He's almost, I want to say frustrated, but I don't know what it is. It's fierce, it's ferocity, it's this look in his eye that I've never seen, and I think he wants to prove a point here. He's talked about KSI being his next fight. He wants to ascend to that level. He's going to have to stop Slim to do it, and I think that's what he wants. Slim not looking to let that happen. Again, another toss-up. I'm going to lean Temper, but Slim has the opportunity to shock a lot of people. We'll see what happens with that one too. And then we get to our main event. After the first main event, the last one for KSI. This is his opportunity to put a staple on the night. We know, KSI said it all week, he wants Jake Paul. The 2 fights were for Jake Paul, to show him he can do 2 in one night, to show the people that he's doing something historic. The pro boxer is to do it before Jake does. And I know it's a lot of narrative play and the skill levels aren't necessarily the same. And no, Luis Pineda is not Tyron Woodley. I can't act like that's the case. But what I can say is, this has to be an astounding performance for KSI. He can't just win, just like we said with Swarms, but he has to beat a pro boxer in style, and that will lead into his next one. We've heard him talk about Tommy Fury next, face Temper, but that stuff means nothing. The Jake fight means nothing if he can't get this one done. The nightmare has to return, and he has to do so in front of 40,000 people, not once, but twice. Can he make this his moment after a 3-year layoff and make history? Will the nightmare return? I think yeah. But I guess we'll find out.